Welcome to AG Chelsea TV. In today's video, I'll take a look at the latest Chelsea FC news. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss my latest videos. Mauricio Pochettino already has Chelsea's Mason Mount replacement. The Mason Mount transfer saga is nearing its conclusion, which is positive news for all of those involved. As reported by Football.London on Thursday afternoon, Chelsea and Manchester United have reached an agreement, in a package worth around £60 million. After weeks of negotiations between the player and the two clubs, Mount now looks set to end his almost 20-year association with Chelsea, with a switch to Manchester on the cards for the England international. The 24-year-old has less than a year remaining on his contract at Stamford Bridge, and after months of speaking to the Blues about possibly extending his stay, decision has now been made. It is of course a blow for Chelsea to lose a player of Mount's quality, but there could be some benefits from selling the midfielder. One of the positives could be opportunities handed to younger players whose development path may have been blocked while Mount was playing his football at Stamford Bridge. Carney Chukwuemeka, who plays in a similar role to Mount, could be one of those players. The 19-year-old featured just 15 times for Chelsea in all competitions throughout his debut season in West London following his £20 million move from Aston Villa. Chukwuemeka was handed just 2 starts in the Premier League, one against Crystal Palace in January and the other coming at Old Trafford in the defeat to Manchester United in the penultimate game of the 2022-23 season. Football.London was told a few months ago that Chelsea would consider sending Chukwuemeka on loan in Mauricio Pochettino's first season at the club. However, that perhaps wasn't accounting for the possibility of Mount leaving the Blues, so the teenager may be viewed as more of a significant figure now. Pochettino, who officially began his role as Chelsea head coach on Saturday, will take his new players for pre-season training for the first time next week. He is bound to have conversations with everyone at some point about what the upcoming season holds for them, and Chukwuemeka will certainly be one of those in dialogue with the Argentine coach. "I'm probably most comfortable as a left 8 in a 3, Chukwuemeka told Chelsea's in-house media in January. But further forward I can drift off the line, or stay out wide. It gives me that freedom to drive with the ball and receive it in pockets. It is always good to be versatile." Romano reveals Chelsea star spurns contract talks. Colwill'S was hugely impressive on loan at Brighton last season, and manager Roberto De Zerbi was keen to retain the 20-year-old. The Seagulls reportedly had a £30 million bid for Colwill'S rejected after a report in May revealed new Blues boss Mauricio Pochettino saw him as one of the players he hopes to build around at Stamford Bridge. But interest in Colwill'S is widespread, with Jurgen Klopp said to be keen to bring him to Liverpool and Manchester City boss Pep Guardiola also said to be an admirer. Transfer expert Fabrizio Romano says game time is the key for Colwill'S, who wants to be an important player next season. It's for that reason that he's so far snubbed any talks over a contract extension at Stamford Bridge, with his current deal set to expire in 2025. Chelsea offered Levi Colwill a new contract. It was a verbal conversation with his agent, but from Levi Colwill's side, it was kind of, wait, we don't want to discuss anything now, so Levi is not in negotiations with Chelsea now, Romano said on YouTube. It is not about the salary, it's more about the project. Levi Colwill doesn't want to be a backup player, he wants to be an important player. He wants to have kind of guaranteed game time. He wants to feel important, otherwise he would be prepared to move, but the reality is also that Chelsea have no intention to negotiate. He still has a long contract at Chelsea, not super long, but long enough to allow Chelsea to control the situation, and they insist in saying that they want Levi Colwill as part of the project. In an interview in which he outlined his love of Brighton and the football they were playing under De Zerbi last season, Colwill admitted he temporarily forgot he was a Chelsea player. Colwill will have Thiago Silva, Benoit Badiashile, Trevoh Chalobah and Wesley Fofana as competition for a centre-back place under Pochettino next term. Chelsea must raise their offer for Juventus star. Although it was a forgettable season for Dusan Vlahovic, the Juventus striker still has suitors among the top European clubs, including Chelsea. The Blues are looking to kickstart a prosperous new era under the guidance of the newly appointed Mauricio Pochettino. The West Londoners are searching the market for a new centre-forward to lead their charge next season. According to Illinois Corriere dello Sport via Juventus News 24, the Premier League giants are attempting to sign the Serbian striker. But as the report explains, Chelsea will have to raise their offer if they were to convince Juventus of parting ways with Vlahovic. The source claims that the English club has placed €60 million on the plate. However, the Bianconeri deems it insufficient. The Italian giants would only consider a figure of 70 million or above. The Roma-based newspapers adds that incoming Juventus director Cristiano Giuntoli will travel alongside the club's sporting director Giovanni Manna to London. The two men will be looking to find a satisfying solution in face-to-face talks with their English counterparts. The Serbian joined Juventus in January 2022 but hasn't been able to replicate the same consistency in front of goal showcased during his time at Fiorentina. Therefore, the Bianconeri would sell him for the right offer. This would finance the club's summer transfer campaign and help in balancing the books. Chelsea still have 7 players up for sale, including £160 million Thomas Tuchel flops. The Blues squad remains extremely bloated despite parting ways with multiple first-team players. Kai Havertz was recently sold to Arsenal for £65 million while N'Golo Kanté, Eduardo Mendy and Kalidou Koulibaly have all signed money-spinning contracts to play in the Saudi Pro League. But co-sporting directors Paul Winstanley and Lawrence Stewart are planning to ship out 7 more players in order to help the rebuilding process under new manager Mauricio Pochettino. The Blues are only willing to entertain permanent deals, as was made clear by the club rejecting Inter Milan's recent loan offer for Romelu Lukaku. They are more focused on outgoings than incoming players at this stage of the window. Chelsea are though actively pursuing Brighton's Moises Caicedo as well as Celta Vigo's Gabri Veiga and have already completed the signings of Kendry Poyes, Christopher Nkunku, Nicholas Jackson and Diego Moreira. Blues leading race for Diogo Costa. According to reports from Portugal, via Sport Witness, Chelsea are now in pole position to sign the Portugal international, having recently overtaken Man United in the transfer race. With the West London club accelerating the sales of Kai Havertz, Mateo Kovacic, Kalidou Koulibaly, Edouard Mendy and possibly Mason Mount, they have their coffers full to reinvest the money on a new goalkeeper. The Blues are expected to start contacts in the first days of July, with Porto said to be holding out for a fee of €75 million, £64 million. Given that Pochettino is said to be happy with Kepa, it does not seem likely that a goalkeeper will be a priority for Chelsea this summer. However, the manager could change his stance as he continues to assess his squad during pre-season. There is every indication that Costa could be an excellent replacement for the Spaniard, having been hailed as sensational by members of the media earlier this year, and he has put in some top-quality performances for Porto. And that's the final content of today's video. Don't forget to like, subscribe and turn on notifications to support me.